Welcome, community of love, whatever you are in this amazing planet. This program, I just give you a little small brief. It's about the spiritual, love, family, self, and money relationships. This is your host, Lily Ackerman, known as the Raw Truth Digger, because I am a strong believer that in order to reconnect, rebuild, and revive your relationships, you must remove your inner conflicts to operate from the true self and get the right mindset to live your extraordinary life. I am a certified transformational wellness master coach and a self publisher. You can grab a copy of my books, and I'm going to put the link on the bottom of this video. This is my two books. So if you would like to get a copy, please just click, and that's it. So today, what is happening today? Well, today, our amazing star is Robin Ayers. She's an entrepreneur, a wife, a great mom, friend. What can I say? She's an incredible, incredible daughter of God. What an honor is to have you today with us, Robin. Thank you for accepting the invitation to be interviewed. Um, the reason I really want to interview Robin is because since I known her, I really admire that she always is striving to be a higher version of herself. So let's start with an easy question, shall we? So
Yeah.
Robin, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food. That's a
Yeah.
good question. Before I answer that, I have to say thank you to you, Lilia, for having me. I feel the same way about you as well. So it's always been an honor to be in your presence and see how you handle life and life situations, how you handle yourself, your family. So
Mm,
you've always been just as inspirational for me, and I'm sure to many more people in your community. So I just wanted to say thank you for having me
mm.
on your show, on your platform. Favorite
Thank
food.
you.
Okay, let's get back to the good stuff. All right.
Yes.
I love soul food. Soul food to me is just anything that is good for the soul. You feel good. You feel the love that was made into it
Mhm.
also. So that anything could really fall under that category, but a good I don't eat a lot of chicken or beef or anything. So I eat turkey, a lot of
Okay.
turkey. So, baked turkey with greens and mac and cheese, that type of thing is always good for
Okay.
me.
That sounds very, oh, I'm getting hungry now.
I know. Exactly.
So where did you born?
I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but I came over to California when I was about 4 years old. So
Oh,
I've been
wow.
in California my whole life.
So you're not planning to move back
Oh,
to
no, no,
your
no, no, no.
roots?
I'm not
No.
moving. I'm not
This
moving.
is this
I'm
is
here to
your
stay.
permanent home. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we would like to hear your story about being an entrepreneur and family. How
Mhm,
do you manage it? Because um, every time I see you with your family, I can see that connection that you have with your husband. Um, I mean, I'm very easy to read people. I think it's one of my gifts.
mhm,
But when I see you, I see a solid relationship.
mhm,
I see, yeah, like the way Rob look at you, the way you look at him, and I don't saying that you there is perfect relationships, and I mean every marriage has ups and downs, but I'm pretty sure that whatever it came into your life, both of you work it out in a beautiful way. And I
yeah.
seen your girls growing up, and I see the interaction that both of you have with them, and that communication that I really want us to tell us more about what is working
Mhm.
um, in your family.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that beautiful compliment. I don't take that lightly, when people look at us and they see a well-rounded family. I don't take that lightly, so I appreciate it. Robbie and me, we've been married for 19 years. Next
Wow.
month, it'll be in June. Next month, it'll be 19 years. So, obviously we probably started out as just good friends, just like anybody else. But I think the thing that separated us when we got married, before we got married, is we went to premarital counseling,
Mm,
and we learned a lot about each other and about ways that we're similar in how we would raise children, ways that we're similar in how we wanted to do life together. We also learned the differences, and we talked about those differences. And I don't think people do enough of that. They don't learn about each other before they commit to a relationship. But we learned about each other and just saw that we have a lot of things that we are similar on. We just agreed. We said, these are things that we will do in front of our kids. These are our future children. These are things we won't do. We won't argue in front of them. We can have disagreements, but we're going to take those things out, to the bedroom or to a private room, and we'll have discussions. So we agreed, and we said that we would never over talk each other. We learned this thing called the spotlight. And it may have sounded corny earlier on, but it really worked. We said, when you when you're talking, I'm going to give you the spotlight, and then when you're done, give the spotlight back to me so that I can talk. So we just established rules and guidelines to our marriage. And I think another key thing to that is we saw, you know, I don't think people slow down enough to realize who your future spouse is at their core. Who is that person at their core? Are they trustworthy? Do they have honor? Do they have, values and things like that? Because we can say, we can establish rules and guidelines, but are you the type of person that's going to stick to that? Or do you show me things about yourself that you're not going to stick to that? So we saw that about each other. Robbie is a really good person in his heart. He's a good person. I knew that he was going to be a great father just because I saw how he interacted with a lot of the kids who were around us at that time. Similarly, he saw things in me. I would be a good mom to raise his children. He saw those things. So that was our foundation. So I wanted to spend a little time on that because the foundation is everything. That's the foundation that you're building so much upon. So yeah, we got a firm foundation, and then we were blessed to have twins. And immediately when I was pregnant with the twins, we decided that I would just become a stay-at-home mom. So I stayed at home with the girls for maybe the first 5 years until they were ready to go to school. And so I never went to work. Robbie went back to work. And that was sort of the beginning of establishing us as a family. So, and respect with one another, and support of one another. So as the girls grew older, we've already established our family relationship. So I think what people see in us right now, they're 17 years old now, but what people see right now with us as a family unit is what we established and we took time to establish when they were younger. So once the girls got old enough, I decided I wanted to get back into the working field and send them off to school. And I think that because we had our foundation and the support,
yes.
they said, you know what, I want to get behind you and support you. And what I decided was I was going to try my best to still sort of maintain a household and still try to work in the field that I'm in ultimately right now. So that's sort of just the beginning and how we grew as a family together.
That is very interesting because one of the programs that I offer is Be Ready to Pour Love.
Hmm.
Because exactly what you mentioned in the beginning, you wanted, you have clarity of what you wanted. You have clarity of what were you looking for. You knew exactly, and then you put boundaries from the beginning.
Yeah.
This is what we want. This is what we don't want. So that's a strong and very solid foundation.
Hmm.
I didn't have that. I mean, I'm very opposite to you.
Hmm.
So I really admire. I will never say could say I'm married 3 times. My relationship was a chaos. So I really admire people like you that I can that did have that foundation, and
Hmm.
that's why I'm very passionate to help people to be ready for love from the beginning,
Mhm.
so they don't 10 years from now they don't have to end in a divorce or in a broken relationship, or um, killing each other after, just like living at a fantasy.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very glad that you spend time on that, because um, it is true.
Yeah.
Your
Well, I think
foundation,
that
your clarity, it was just like just to hear you, it's like you have everything like boom in front of you, and
mm,
then you went for it, and he did that too.
he did too. I think the best part about it, the best part about life is that we can take all of our experiences and we can make decisions. What do we want from here? Okay, that didn't work out for me. What do I want from here? So we always have another opportunity. My mom says, as long as you wake up in the morning, you could always start again. It's always a new day.
That's so
And
beautiful.
so, yeah, and so I've always taken that with me, I learned I didn't have to go through it personally because I learned through my mom and her relationships and how she established
Mhm.
herself. It didn't go well for her either with my own father. So watching that, I was able to set boundaries from her relationship. So I never had to go
Wow.
through it. So which is beautiful. People can look at my relationship or my family. If it's an inspiration for you, you can look at that and say, that's a good frame. I won't be exactly like Robin and Robbie and Brooklyn and Madison because that's your family. I'm going to have my own, but I can use it as a frame to say, I don't have to go through turmoil. I can look at someone else and say, that's what I want. That's what I desire. And you can, so that's what I love. I just love that we can make decisions based on what we see or based on our experiences. You can say,
Yes,
I'm going to follow that or I'm going to change that for my future. So I see it as a blessing either way. If even if you don't, if you had 3 marriages, it doesn't matter.
right.
We're always learning and we always apply because we can make decisions every single day.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I see that you broke the mold, like it was coming from your mom, from your dad,
Yeah.
and then being a pioneer into anything is very challenging
Mhm.
because you're not familiar with it. Um, I broke the mold in a different way with my daughters, because yeah, my family was very not connected. It was very disconnected. They
Mhm.
call it dysfunctional family,
Mhm.
which I don't believe in dysfunctional. Mm, I prefer to see it in a different way.
Mhm.
But when you're not familiar in with your parents together, and it is hard because you don't have no uh, a role model to follow. So in your case, I can imagine the thing that you have to learn, because you didn't have the role model, then to decide, I don't want that for my family. This is what I want.
Mhm.
And I think that was your motor that helped you to propel you to
Yes.
build the family that we see.
Yeah. Well, part of it, my mother did remarry and she married my stepfather, and my stepfather treated her like a princess, like a queen. And so I was
Okay.
able to get a taste of both and say, okay, she didn't do
Mm.
it right with my father, but when she remarried, I desired the peace that they provided.
Mm.
So as I got older, we all lived in the house together, there was no more yelling, there was no more chaos, there was no more violence or anything like that. So with my stepfather, he provided peace and
Oh,
he helped my
wow.
mom provide the peace and a sense of culture and togetherness. But I also saw my mom be an independent woman. I saw her working hard on her career. So I saw how she balanced both family and career, and that helped me establish what I wanted in my just as a woman. And so I knew I'm gonna have peace in my household. There's not gonna be so, and I have a part to play in that. number one, who I choose. I got to choose the right person, make a decision in choosing, but I'm also I'm going to heal from my past trauma so I don't bring up the baggage
Beautiful.
in my relationship. So,
Wow.
yeah, a lot of that, we all have a part to play in our family. We have a part to play in our legacy even.
Yes.
So, I made those decisions early on. I said, this is what I want. No drama. I want peace in my family. I want my husband to be able to have his own life and his own friends and his own hobbies. I want to have my life, my friends, my hobbies. And then I want to come together and have things that we have interest in together. And
That's
so,
beautiful.
yeah, it's sort of like a vision board in my mind. That's what I had, a vision board in my mind. And it kind of worked out that way. So yeah, I think we use all the pieces of our experiences to forge a path forward.
You mentioned something very important, which is that the baggages.
Hmm.
That I was reading a story this morning about I never heard from them. It was in social media, and it, I think they got into restraining order because he abused her. But though all the comments were about she looking at her as a victim, and looking at him like the bad guy that deserve no mercy and all the stuff.
Hmm.
But my question was to my wrote a comment like, "Oh, okay, so why, if she is so perfect, what made her to connect with this um,
Hmm.
so-called horrible person?"
Yeah.
Because we bring the baggages and then we connect because chemistry is chemistry, and we need each other for good or for bad.
Hmm.
And then when you mention that I didn't want to bring my baggages, I didn't want to bring the trauma. I need to heal from whatever you were at the moment that you. I'm pretty sure you realize the changes that you need to make
Hmm.
before I get into a relationship. The majority of people, they don't do that. We don't do that. We don't, because we see it as I think you are a miracle, or all of these things that you are mentioning,
Hmm.
because the majority will just live in auto, and
Yes.
then we just follow because we believe that this is life. Life
Yeah.
is drama, life is pain, life is so I'm so glad that you mentioned that, and you took the perfect timing before you get into the relationship
Hmm.
to heal. So
Yeah.
by healing, it was more clarity and the way you wanted to 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 your family to be.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so powerful, very powerful.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I don't even know, to be honest with you. There, you know how you earlier on you acknowledged one of your gifts being able to see things on people, see how people are, your discernment. Um, One of my gifts is to hear from God in a way, or to have a relationship with God in a way that maybe a lot of other people don't. So I wasn't even traditional in a healing process. I didn't go to therapy, I didn't do counseling. There's just an understanding that I had from God. God provided me an understanding of the way the world works,
Mm.
the way people operate, and decisions that we make. And it's a higher thing for me. It's not I'm not saying that. First of all, I do believe in going to therapy and counseling or whatever
Yeah.
helps your healing process. I totally believe in it. And I'm not saying that I don't have ways that my trauma still doesn't show up in my life. I'm sure it shows up some way. I'm not a perfect human being, right? I'm not perfect, but the what I can say is that actual trauma, that actual thing that most of us take with us, that is the part that I've connected the pieces on that. I don't lack in that area. I understand fully what's going on. I understand fully what's happening, why people are the way that they are. I understand I understand how to get over that, how to make decisions to move forward, how to navigate. I understand it, and that's a gift that God has given me. So my healing has been all like thought process and all of those things. It's just been I'm blessed in that way. I'm blessed in that way. And in addition, God has given me the gift of being able to take all of this that I've learned, my experiences, put it in a little pretty package and deliver it to the world. That's been a gift. I can deliver it to the world for people to understand what I'm saying and to help people. That's always been, as a matter of fact, um, God spoke to me when I was either 4 years old or younger, because I was living in Milwaukee when I was Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I was born. And he spoke to me and he said, that I had never been taken to church. No one ever taught me about God, nothing. So I just had this spiritual interaction with God where God told me that it was not always going to be like this, because I was living in a household where there was a lot of physical violence, yelling, crying. It was just a
Mhm.
gloomy cloud over my house all the time.
Wow.
So God told me it's not always going to be like this, and I'm going
Mm.
to use you
Right.
to help them. And for whatever reason, I didn't know who the people were that he was gonna say, who he assigned me to help. I didn't know who they were, but I knew God was gonna use me. I knew that from a very, very young age. And so to be where I am now, I can see the thread, I can see the line of how God has used me. I can see it. I'm like every single thing that I've been through, I've been able to use it for my good and use it for the good of other people. I can see it. It's been there throughout this entire time. Even what I do now as a radio host, and I work in the world of entertainment. Of course, entertainment is crazy. Entertainment is
Yeah.
wild. Entertainment is just it can be a lot, it could be a lot to digest. It could be a lot to take in and consume, but with what I do, I'm able to use it and use the stories from it to push forward good conversation, to help my community and talk about how we can change things. And, so even in what I do with entertainment, God can use everything. He can use it all and if he partners with the right people, and I consider myself a good person to partner with. If he partners with the right person,
Yeah.
he can still help you, and he could use whatever in order to help people still.
You know what? You're going ahead of me, okay, on my questions. But I'm
Okay.
very happy because
Yeah.
I if this is happening, it's because we have a great connection.
Mhm.
We are a great connection.
Yeah.
Another really, yeah, that the principle that I always talk is that connection with God.
Mhm.
And when you say that you didn't have to go to therapy, I do believe it. I do believe you because God is the great healer.
Yeah.
He is the great healer.
Yeah.
And that what the voice that you heard and everything that you mentioned is because you're being connected. You have a communion with God.
Yes.
You're not a religious person to go to church. Religious meaning just rituals.
Right.
I can tell by the outcome that you have with God, that you have a great connection, that you are bonding with Him, and you really are serving. That's what I said, in the beginning. You are a great child of God
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I can see that. I can see it, and and that is something that, I mean, in my experience, I seen people that I mean, you have your family, you have your business, and the spiritual part. I
Mhm.
seen people that they lost their job or their company, and they collapse. I seen people that they lost somebody, lost a marriage, and they collapse.
Mhm.
But what I haven't seen is the people that are in a strong relationship with God, either either thing can collapse, but they don't collapse.
Mhm.
Because a spiritual connection foundation is the most important part,
Yeah.
I believe, from every human life. So I can imagine in the challenge that you went with your family, I see you running toward God
Mhm.
and the promise that He gave you that not all the time was going to be like that. We know that He is He's a true God,
Yeah.
and His word. He keep He's faithful to His word.
Yeah.
And I see that picture that they speak about you. I saw one in your profile when you are with your all your white with a green surrounding, and it is so beautiful, so astonishing. I mean, the light that you bring to people, the
Yeah.
inspiration that you bring to others, and now helping the community in the different areas. That is very powerful. So
Yeah.
tell us more about how did you get into the entertainment industry? What made you to be a radio host
Mhm.
and everything in between?
Um, well, as I mentioned, I was a stay-at-home mom with my twins at first, with the girls, and I just needed a way to get back into the industry, get back into work. And I came from a fashion background, and so I didn't want to get back into fashion. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to work and I wanted to enjoy what I did. And so I've always been pulled towards fashion or towards entertainment. So I wound up getting an internship with a powerful family, a beautiful family, the Norwood family, Brandy, Ray J, Sonia, and Willie Norwood. And I was interning for them. And to make a long story short, I wound up meeting a friend of theirs who invited me to do an interview for the very first time. And the interview was with a celebrity named Keith Sweat. So I interviewed him. It went very well, and he had me come back again and do another interview with the legend Magic Johnson, and that went very well. And I said, I've been told my whole life that people thought I was going to be a counselor, and they thought I was going to be a counselor, therapist, or something, because I have a gift of just listening to people and allowing people to feel comfortable in my presence by just opening up. That's always been the case. People just have talked to me for my entire life. So I heard that a lot when I was growing up. I think, Robin, I think you're going to be a counselor. But when I think about it, in a way, me doing interviews, is sort of, you're using those same skill sets. You're listening to people and having conversations and allowing people to open up to you. And I decided that's what I wanted to do. So I just pursued it. I pursued it, and you know, uh, at times, even if it were, it was difficult and hard, I said I'm still going to do it. And what I started to do was open up do Facebook live streams. I started to
Okay.
do Facebook lives. And as I was making my way in the entertainment business, I was having all of these experiences. But the experiences that I was having were, I saw spiritual correlations. So I would open up live stream and tell people what happened today, but I would give them a lesson spiritually. So as I was doing that, I was pretty much doing it every day. All of my community on Facebook, they said,
Oh,
"Robin, you need to
wow.
write a book. Just put this all in a book." So I decided, I said, okay, finally, I'm gonna write myself a book. And I wrote my very first book called Unspoken Languages, Making Your
Oh,
Beliefs Speak for
wow.
You. So I put that out. It was 2016. I put that book out. And it did very well because I had a good community who loved me, and they supported me, and they tweeted it out and reposted. And so it did well. And I've traveled a lot around the country just as a speaker, with the book, and giving people sort of the messages from the book. And so I've done a lot of that. And then I wrote another book, put another book out, published it. And so that's been a great experience for me as well. And all the while, I never stopped working in entertainment. I became a writer. I'm an entertainment correspondent, so I do a lot of the red carpets and press junkets and things like that. So Yeah, it's been an interesting process and just learning more about myself along the way, but with
Yes.
and I think the reason that God has blessed it is because at the end of the day, I always insist on sharing the beautiful blessings of God. Number one, I share the blessings of God, and I share his messages, and I share the hope and the inspiration, and that the hope and the message that they should never, whatever it is that you're going through, never stop. Number one, and then know that God is always there to help pull you through it. So I think God has trusted me with the message of
Yes.
being a light and being that message for other people.
That, do you
Yeah.
have a copy of your book with you?
I do. It's in
Yeah.
the other room, but yeah, I do have a copy of the book, and I could grab it before we end.
Well, I'm gonna put the links on the description of the YouTube and the
Okay.
podcast. So please send me the link, and then we're
Yes.
gonna put it right there so people can contact you and
Yeah, that'll be
to hear
awesome.
more from. Yeah, that will be amazing. That
Thank
will
you.
be
Thank
so
you so
amazing.
much.
So what is one what is that what the message that you would like to send to people, to humanity?
Yeah, I think there's so many, by the way, but I think one of the messages that will resonate with everybody, no matter where you are in your life, is that I always describe it as this. Let me just give you an example. There's this bottle, right? This is my iced tea, but in this bottle is the game of life. And this is the world, the earth that we're living in. As long as we live, the earth is going to turn like this, right? And whatever is in here is going to turn with it. That's us, where life is happening inside this earth, inside the bottle. And in this bottle, you're going to win, you're going to lose, you're going to fail, but you're going to soar, you're going to thrive. All the things happen within this bottle. But because the world keeps turning, you're always going to end up back on top. You're always going to
Okay.
end up back on top. So whatever is happening in here, as long as you keep moving and revolving around this thing, you're always going to end up back on top. And if you're not back at the top yet, just understand that's okay. I'm just going through it, and one day I'm going to be back at the top. It always happens. And so people, the problem is that people get stuck thinking this is it. Okay, it doesn't get any better than this. I can't get any better. I will never overcome. But if you look at it from that perspective, it's just turning. It's just turning. So if you're not, if everything is not okay right now, that means that you're still turning, because you're always gonna be okay. That's how the world is meant to be. We're always meant to be back on top. So that's the so but also understand that even if you're currently at the top, you're still going through life. So something is going to happen, but you have to prepare your mind. You got to prepare yourself that stuff is going to happen just because you're
Mm,
alive. Just because you're alive, things will happen. There are going to be challenges that come your way, all kinds of
yeah.
things. But if you prepare your mind, even that, I'm going to get through that. And after that, I'm going to be back on top again. So, that's a revolving message that I think applies to everybody in this life. But you got to grasp that idea that even if you're not okay right now, you will be.
I really like that because I mean I went through that too. That when you get stuck, when
Mhm.
you get stuck like you cannot move no direction, you don't see a way out, you don't see anything.
Yeah.
But that's very valuable advice.
Yeah.
It's part of life, as long and the Bible say that as long as you are on earth, you're gonna face tribulation, you're gonna face troubles, you're gonna face so I really like that one. Thank
Yeah.
you so much because people need to hear that. Just remember, nothing is forever. And
That's
the, going back to your relationship, and we have a few minutes left. What is one thing that when your husband and you have like disagreements, What is one thing that helped you to resolve those differences?
Mhm. Well, one of the things I just talked about this recently because, um
I saw a smile when I asked you the question.
yeah. Because we're always evolving and you're always learning, you know. We've been married for 19 years, but I'm still learning some things and how to learn him and how to make it easier for our lives. I think when it comes to disagreements and how to resolve them is really, really understanding that you're not always right and that that other person has a valid point from their lens.
Exactly.
There's something valid in what you're saying even if we're disagreeing. I think what happens, a disagreement comes when we bring our beliefs, our thoughts, you know, to the table and we don't want to budge, we don't want to move. But
Yes.
you can just set that to the side for a second. Not that what you're saying isn't valid, but it may not be as important right now. And if we could all learn to do that, if he could say, okay, let me just hear where she's coming from. And I can say, let me just hear where he's coming from. And we put ourselves on the back burner for a second, then we're both hearing each other. We're both, you know, we're navigating this problem
Yes.
with each other in mind. And so that is huge, huge because we don't know how to do that. Everybody thinks they're right. Everybody
Right.
thinks, no, validate me. You know, you need to agree with me. And no, if we can just become less self-absorbed and listen
Yes.
to everyone
Yes.
else, a lot of our problems will go away, not just in our romantic relationships, but you know, platonic relationships, relationships in your community. A lot of the issues would go away if we thought that way.
You're absolutely right. You are that's why you have a successful relationship.
Thank you.
And what is one of your biggest challenges that you went with your children?
Oh, my children. Uh, One of the biggest challenges is, well, because I have twins, you in life, I think, especially when it comes to twins, people think, oh, they're just alike or they're two, you know, but they're just like everybody else. When you have children, multiple children, someone could be shy, another one could be extroverted and outgoing, and just realizing that number one, they're two different people. And not only that, the biggest challenge is overcoming the thought that they are not who you wanted them to be. So we have
Beautiful.
this idea when, you know, even before we have kids, we have this idea of, oh, when I have a daughter, when I have a son, I want them to do this, that, and the other. I want them to be, but they might come out into this world, which by the
Beautiful.
way, they don't belong to me. I am the conduit in which God
Yeah, exactly.
bless the world. So that's all I am. I say, thank you, God, for giving me the opportunity to bring them into the world, but they really belong to God. They belong to the world. So when I realized that, I'm like, okay, whoever you are, whatever you are, I'm going to love you through that. I'm going to get behind you in that. And I've arrived at that place now, but that wasn't always the case. That was a challenge to be like, oh, like you don't like the color pink? I don't know. You don't like to dress up, you know, because I'm glamorous. I have a glamorous life and I like to do pictures and I like to do all, oh, you don't like to do that? Come on, why don't you like to do that? You're my kid, you know, but they're not my property.
Exactly.
They don't
Oh,
belong to me.
this is good stuff.
They are my children and they belong to God. They belong to the world to
Exactly.
thrive in their own way. So I gave that idea up a long time ago. And now I focus on, well, what can I teach you while you're in my household? What can you learn from me? Establishing a good relationship,
Beautiful.
you know, supporting them so that they understand they can trust me when they leave. So when you leave, can I still trust mom? Can I tell her anything and she's going to support it? Yes, because you got that experience while you were at home. So I know I went back to a positive note, but that was my challenge and I overcame it with
No, I mean, that's in my book I wrote a chapter about how to heal your relationship with your children,
Mhm.
because I noticed that especially the marriage, or it can be the person, because I mean it happens to me.
Mhm.
Your childrens are out of your life because, and right now your daughters are, when I got accepted right in their school where they going.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for you.
thank
I
you.
saw that in your profile too.
Mhm.
So beautiful. I'm very, very happy for them and for all of you. But the marriage suffer a lot because they don't have a life. There are no children. There are no conversation. There is no. They realize there is two people that they don't know each other. But I mean, if they do what you did in your marriage, you're constantly connected with your husband, and both of you are in the same pace, or that your marriage is very important for both of you. You know,
Mhm.
that is not gonna happen to you guys.
Mhm.
And I wish to see more families like that.
Yeah.
But that when the kids are out of the house, there's two strangers that they don't have a life. They don't have nothing because
Mhm.
everything was their children.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then to project your desires, to project what you couldn't do, now your children are gonna do. But then, and I'm so, I mean, when you were describing, I like pink and I like this and I like that, and you're my children, why you don't like that? I can imagine that then you realize, oh, Palmer, they are very different.
Yeah, very, very different, and I'm okay with that, I'm very, um, I'm totally fine with that, and even when people say, "Are you gonna be sad and all of that when they leave?" Like, sure, there were 17 years being here at home with us, and we did a lot of things together, you know that,
Yes, yes,
but, at the same time, I've been preparing my mind. Again, it's
beautiful.
the thing that I have. I understand they don't belong to me, and I understand
Yes.
that it's a process, and we all go through this. I'm not going through anything different. Everybody's experienced, leaving, or you've experienced your children moving on. Like we're all going through it. So there's no difference, and I've accepted that.
But that's the difference that you are accepting, that you were prepared. That
Mhm.
is you acknowledge they are not my property. They
Exactly.
they 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 belong to God. They belong to the world. And then you mentioned something very, very true, that they have their own journey, and then
Mhm.
you are allowing them. You and your husband are allowing them to follow their own passion and to be themselves.
Yeah.
So this is that's the difference.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. If there's anything else that you would like to share with the audience.
Well, no, I obviously my books are available on Amazon right now, Unspoken Languages, and the other one is called The Raw Report. It's about business. It's really for people who are just starting out in business, and they're just tips and little nuggets that I give, things that I've learned throughout my career and throughout my life. But
Beautiful.
I appreciate you having me so much. I really, really, truly appreciate that and honor you for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Always is a pleasure to see you. And I'm very thrilled with this conversation. And I know that you're gonna help lots of parents and lots of couples with your no with your tips, but with your life, because you are uh like you, whatever you say is because you're doing it
Yeah,
with example of everything that you shared with us today. And I learned a lot from you this morning, so thank you so much,
I
Robin. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, my beautiful audience, this is the end. Um, all the information about Robin, if you want to contact her, is going to be underneath of this video. And then just remember just to share this, because this is the only way that it helps us to the information to keep rolling. And you never know when this video is going to find somebody that need to hear even one phrase, one sentence how can this sentence can change people's life. So thank you so much. My name is Lily Ackerman, and see you next time. And remember, love more and forgive more. Bye. And it's time to stop the recording.